inkproducts.com has now released a new cleaner, the Extreme Green, for sublimation printheads. Now I'm going to show you on the Sawgrass SG400, or it could be the SG800. It also works for Epson. Any printer that's using sublimation, this cleaner will dissolve the particle ink and free up the printhead. Now I took a SG400 and I totally stripped it down for this video so you can see it, because there's a lot of these printers out, and what happens is the printheads, if you don't use them, they dry out or they'll clog up, or you're using the wrong ink, the wrong sublimation ink. It's got too much alcohol maybe and it dries up too quick. Now this is called the capping station, and when the printhead comes over, it stays over that, and that's what cleans the printhead and primes it up. And they have a little pumping mechanism that helps pump it up. Now we received this printer because they were having problems with the colors, but here's what we discovered. They were told to use alcohol to clean the capping station. Well, the sponge is missing. There's a sponge in each one of these. This one has it, and by the way, this sponge is as hard as a rock, so I know the ink they were using caused that problem. Now I got the sides off, but you have to take the top cover off to get at the printhead. And on each side there's locking tabs, and you're going to unlock it and slide this top to the back. So you can use a little screwdriver. There, I just did it with my 2 fingers. That'll expose the printhead. Here's where the hoses come around and go in. Within the kit, you're going to get a syringe for each color. It has a special tip. It's going to go in there. You'll put the cleaner in. You'll flush out the printhead. Now also in the kit, it's one like this. You can attach this to the hose and see if there's any clog in the hose. Now, clogging in the hose can be very difficult to clear, but we'll go into that in a minute. So you use a pair of needle nose, you'll take it up, put the cleaner, you heat up the cleaner. You'll heat up the cleaner that's for this, and I'll show you. You're going to take and fold the paper towel. You're going to lay it down in there and run the printhead over it. Then with a pair of needle nose, you're going to go right down and take out the hose that's going into the printhead. And then you're going to start to add the fluid. Now, this is where it tells you if you have a clogged printhead. If the fluid won't go through, the cleaning fluid, that's clogged. But if it goes right through, then that's not the problem. Printhead's not clogged. Now after you get done using the cleaners, you got to fill the syringe back up with some sublimation ink, the color you're working on. Go over and add sublimation ink back to the printhead. Then once you do them, and you only fix the one that's broken, don't do the other ones. Now once you get it flowing and new ink added to the printhead, then you can put it back together, put the cartridges in. Now we use a refillable cartridge. Holds a lot more ink. Our ink, our sublimation ink, is certified American made ink. But now Sawgrass cartridges, they hold 29 milliliters. Ours holds 60 milliliters, and black even holds more. But I just wanted to show you all this printer has in it and what to look for. Now this capping station, that's a serious problem, because once you damage this, there's no repair parts, and it's a shame because you should be able to repair it. Now maybe Sawgrass will take it in and repair it for you. That I don't know. But you don't have to deal with anything over here. Now down here, I took it right apart. This is the needles that go into the front of the cartridge. So they sit in this, and it's in the printer, and you slide it in, the needle goes into the cartridge, and it starts to draw the ink. Now you can't force chemical through here to the printhead. Can't be done. Because right here is a little pump. It turns and it pumps the ink up. But you cannot force ink through it, because unless you find the exact spot that'll open that hose up, it won't happen. And it's almost impossible because it's buried into the back of the machine, and it has a set of drive gears. Now one thing I did notice is the hose is kinked more on the magenta than it is on the yellow. So if I take this gear off, this outer gear, now you're not going to be able to do this. It makes no sense you to do this. I'm just showing you how it works. So if we take this gear off, then you could be able to put liquid right on through. But because the way of the design, you can't do that. So you have to go up to the top and do it right from here. Take the hose out. Very rarely does a hose clog though. Most of the problem is right here. Capping station or dried out printhead nozzles. Piece of cardboard, and I put the paper towel over it, and I put a little tape in the front. The reason is I want to be able to slide it underneath the printhead. So I can slightly lift the printhead just a little bit, and then I'll be able to slide that right on under. And that'll catch the chemical or any ink that comes through. You just take your time, you'll be able to slide it right through. I already see it over here, it's already coming through. Got the cardboard underneath with the paper towel. I used a pair of needle nose and I picked off the hose. Then I'm going to take the other tip and I'm going to get it right over that part of the printhead that was sticking up that the hose went into. So it's just like that. Now it doesn't take much chemical. I'll start to push it. It's taking a little, I have to wait now. Now I heat up the chemical to the temperature of coffee, because this gives it a little faster acting on the chemical. Just wait a minute. Take a second, push a little bit. It's really hard getting it in, so just take your time. I'm going to wait about 5 minutes, give it a chance to. Now if it went right through, well, that wouldn't be a clogged printhead. But this printhead definitely is clogged, for whatever reason. Okay, now I can test it to see it's coming through. I'll move the printhead just a little bit. Yep, starting to get the ink through. Okay, now I would take it out, clean out that syringe, in other words, with the chemical, just squirt it out, discard it, and then fill it with sublimation ink. Then I'll go over and add sublimation ink to it. Syringe with sublimation ink, and I just push very little, very little, very little, just like the chemical. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overflood that printhead. There, now it's more coming out. That's good enough. Now I know the magenta's flowing. So I'll take it all back out, put it together, put it back together, and run it and see if I get a good nozzle check. But this is going to be another problem right here, because playing with this and testing this, I found out that sponge is almost hard as a rock, and this one's missing, so I don't know what happened to it. So I'm going to try to come up with something that I can put in there. And looking at the cardboard, I got a good flow. The chemical definitely broke up whatever was clogged that particular nozzles. I don't know what it was in there, but I think it's dried ink. But I'll tell you what, this capping station, that doesn't perform or work properly, it won't draw the ink. And that'll give you problems too. Now, and also it'll say discard after use. These are veterinarian syringes, so you don't have to wash them out. Leave them like that. That's why you get one for every color. And it doesn't take much chemical. Less than 1 cc, way less than that. Same thing with the ink. Now, you'll use these if you want to check the hose to see if there's any clogging in the hose. Because I can go back and forth, put that on the hose and pump it up and down. So now I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to take that gear off and show you what's underneath. There it is. Now there's what I noticed. It's kinked quite a bit there, where the yellow didn't seem to have that. Now see it leaking out? That's telling me that we're clear now. The hose is clear. Now you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to take that off. I mean, that's a lot of work. But I just wanted to show you that in the video. Very rarely do these lines clog, very rarely. Most of the trouble is here or in the printhead nozzles drying out. Now I'm going to show you the bottom side of that printhead. So I can't take it off yet. I have to take the cover off. There. Now, I don't recommend you do this. I'm only doing this for the video. Also, this is called a decoder strip. Don't get any ink on that. If you do, you'll damage it and it won't run right. Okay, now I'm going to pull it up. You can see the magenta's flowing out now. There's the printhead. And it gets dry there. When it comes over, it gets cleaned off and scraped off here. There's a little scraper. Then it goes over onto the capping station, and this comes up and down. It goes up, seals around the bottom of the printhead, and starts to draw the ink out. Now if that anywhere is clogged up there, this is not going to work. Or if anything here is malfunctioning, it's not going to charge it up. It's not going to charge that printhead back up. Even though they have this little pump that goes against right there. This is a little pumping action right here. But if it's clogged, that's not going to work. Now another problem you can have with these is the maintenance box, the waste maintenance box. You know, code out, or you'll get all kinds of codes. We sell a replaceable chip instead of throwing the box away. Now I always set it up like this so you can see inside. These are only little cotton pads in there. So it really doesn't fill up to the top with ink. Now you can replace those pads with like sponge or something like that. Put the top on. You don't have to throw it away. And then in the kit that we get you with the chip, you get a glue dot. You're going to take it off the front there and slide the new one on. I slid that off. I have the glue dot on. I'll slide the slotted end into that, at this end right there, and then stick it with the glue dot will hold it. So next time I just have to peel it back off again, stick on a new chip. Okay, now I put the new chip on. I'll be putting it in, and I'll get rid of that error code telling me that the waste box is full. We can start printing again. That's simple. It was a lot easier replacing the chip, a lot less expensive. And again, go to inkproducts.com for the latest in replacement chips, cleaner, or high quality sublimation ink.